What is up, everybody? My name is CoalFire, and welcome back to Get Even. After my third time playing it through, after the first crash, not being able to access the ending, after trying to go back into it, and then the second crash, we are back. Hopefully everything goes well this time, and let's get into the end of this little story here. I'm so excited.
I envy no man, Black. If someone has something I want, I take it for myself. So here's my offer, and I'll only make it once. You work for me, not Ramsey. I devise a plan to get Ramsey's Pandora device, and you carry it out. You name your price within reason, and if you're successful, I'll forget about the whole corner gun fiasco, and we'll both be on our merry way. How does that sound?
If I refuse?
You're alive because you're useful, Black. Don't get any ideas.
No.
Excuse me.
I said no.
I'm not sure I've been clear enough here, Black.
Oh, you've been clear. But I refuse your offer, Howard. I'll not work for you. I'll never work for you. I'll not carry out this little plan of yours. I don't agree to any of it. I refuse.
Dun dun dun. All hail the Puppet Master. And here we are, back in the asylum. I do like that I've had to replay the game a couple times because it has shed a lot of light on a lot of little details.
So much time, so much energy figuring out who's to blame, yet you never stop to consider yourself.
What the fuck? Ramsey! What's going on?
How to put it? Closing the asylum.
How are you doing this? What is this place?
The asylum was part of the simulation
What's it all about this time?
the entire time. Which, after having gone through everything a couple more times, all of that became a little bit more clear. There were a lot of little clues and inconsistencies from scene to scene. After the breakthrough made in 2013, a team of researchers led by Susumu Tonegawa, winner of the Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine in 1987, managed to implant false fear-related memory directly into a mouse's brain. The implications of such memory editing in human test subjects were immediately clear, particularly in patients suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Excuse me. Co-author of Tonegawa's study, Steve Ramirez, says we can begin asking questions that were once the realm of philosophy. Yet, the scientific community remains divided on just how ethical such experiments would be. If painful memories can be simply wiped from a person's mind, to what extent might it alter our natural our natural physiological coping mechanisms? To what extent would it change the very nature of who that person is? And to what extent could it interfere with what it means to be human? So I absolutely love that little bit, because a lot of people like the idea that who a person is like the amalgamation of all of their memories and experiences. But if you can go back and remove specific memories from a person's life experience, will they still be the same person? Body found in warehouse. The body of a 40-year-old man was found abandoned warehouse near Route 10 on Monday. No specific details. Questioning Jasper Prado's death remains unexplained. Chadwick is certain that it was a drug-related crime. I've questioned both Jared Porter and Ethan Hamilton. Chadwick talked to John Linden and Albert Hall, but it doesn't seem we're making any progress. More names popped up in Prado's phone record, but the guy was a dealer, and it looks like almost all of his friends were just clients. And Coal Black. Upon leaving the military 7 years ago, it seems... Okay, yeah, we've read this one. Alcohol, contract pay, killer. Is there anything else in here? Puppet Master! Okay, yeah, we've already gone to that one. This reminds me of the beginning of the Matrix. Red pill or blue pill?
I'm afraid I haven't been quite straight with you, Black. My apologies.
Right. Once and for all, what the fuck is going on, Ramsey? Where am I now?
My memories, Mr. Black. Interacting with someone wearing the Pandora can sometimes create what I call synaptic bleed. Two-way traffic, if you will. A flaw in the technology.
And the asylum?
Oh, forgive me. The asylum was necessary.
Son of a bitch. That whole thing was just some big illusion.
Simulation would be the correct term. The construct was of my own design, intended to keep your adrenaline at the optimum level for the technology to function efficiently.
And the inmates? Patients of yours?
The patients were nothing to do with me. I just provided the simulation. But the mind has a wonderful way of filling in the gaps. I show you a creepy old asylum, your mind populates it with lunatics. Likely just half-remembered characters from your life. Sometimes even films and books. Predictable, perhaps, but not unexpected.
So you tricked me. This whole thing was a lie.
Do you want to talk about lies, Mr. Black? Whose lies and tricks would you rather discuss? Mine or yours?
I don't know what you mean.
You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah, so that's why everybody in the asylum refers to us as the Puppet Master, because they are all constructs that our mind conjured up. We're the ones pulling the strings, making them what they are.
This is Grace's room. You remember her, Black? The girl you tried to save. My daughter.
Of course!
Then why were you there? You were my employee, Black. My head of security. You knew my daughter had been taken and you said nothing.
I don't remember!
I don't believe you.
Rawr.
What about Lenore, my wife? What about her, Black?
I don't know what you want me to say!
She left me, Black. She blamed all this on me, and it wasn't my fault. I refuse to accept responsibility for the actions of some terrorist. Tell me what you know.
All I know of her is what I've seen here, in your memories. I'm sorry, I can't help you.
What about this man, Black? You remember him?
I remember you, Ramsey, and I am sorry for what you've been through, but I tried to help. I just didn't get there soon enough. Please, let me go.
Is that what you want, Black? To be let go?
Of course, we had a deal.
Let you go? Happy to, of course. But let me ask you this. Are there any circumstances under which you would not wish to be let go?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Welcome to my office, Mr. Black. Have a look around. I'm sure you'll be able to make sense of everything.
This is a really beautiful office. I love this. So all of the computer hardware, pizza and Chinese takeout, a whole fuck ton of servers. This guy's fucking brilliant. The fact that he could build all of this, I mean, I know he had a company helping him, but impressive technology. And it's all just really pretty. But what's in the box? What's in the box?
What the fuck?
It's us.
This is me. More of your scare tactics, Ramsey. But it won't fucking work. Not anymore.
You say you don't remember anything else? That you've told me everything? Then I don't need you anymore.
You don't need me.
If only you'd been a little more cooperative, things might have been different. Goodbye, Mr. Black.
Wait! Still
Thanks
out!
for the memories.
Robert! Don't do this! I'm sorry! I'm sorry for everything! Wake me up! Please! Just wake me up!
And there it is. The end of Coal Black. Yeah, so this just starts going through all of our decisions, which might be a little bit different from the original playthrough, because I have had to go back a couple times, blah, 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 bitching and moaning. I tried to make every decision exactly the same. So that is the end of Black's story, but there is a second campaign where you play as Red. I've only seen the very beginning of it, just because that's where I cut it off the first time for the original recording of this episode. I think I am going to take a little break from Get Even before we go into Red's side. If you guys really, really want to see Red's campaign, then let me know and I can bring this back a hell of a lot sooner. But there's other games that I would like to start getting out onto the channel. But Get Even, I got to admit, on my first completion of the playthrough, I was a little underwhelmed, but the game kind of had the same effect as, for any of you who've seen Fight Club, when you go back through it a second and a third time, you pick up more and more and more of little bits and pieces of the story that you may have overlooked or didn't make sense in context or didn't make sense until you know what's going on. And I started to like it a hell of a lot more than after just my first playthrough. So I'm actually kind of thankful that I had to go back and play it a few times, because it really opened up a lot of that stuff for me. Like I said earlier, the inconsistencies in the asylum, some of the transitions had clues, and there were more and more bits and pieces of the dialogue that made sense, that when you just run through it the first time kind of stand out, especially that opening part And they were talking about the cellular degradation and all of that, because Black is essentially dead, being kept alive in that kind of cryo chamber with the Pandora on his head. So I'm gonna pause it when it comes back up here and go back to the main menu, because so yeah, some of the mechanics felt really, really solid, like the investigative stuff that you could do on your phone. The combat at times seemed a little bit contrived for the situation, like it was just trying to put a barrier between you and the objective, which I suppose works to a point, but I don't know, I feel like this game would have been a lot more of a cohesive experience if they forced you to do only stealth or only investigation. The combat just kind of threw the whole rhythm off of the game. The investigation part was interesting, but I don't know, the gathering system where most of the documents and stuff were just lying around the pictures. I don't know, it seems like it was just kind of thrown in as a, like, here's all the info, if you click X on all of it, then you get a better ending. It would have been nice if they made that information a little bit harder to find, or used more of the phone's investigation mechanics to try and work that in. I mean, there was only like maybe 2 or 3 times where we had to use the infrared vision. That could have been a huge part of it. I mean, it really helped in combat in the dark areas, but there could have just been so much more done with it that, I don't know. Overall, I really like the story, I really like the narrative. I might go back again in my own time and try and get a good ending, because I think that's like one of the worst endings you can get. I haven't spoiled any of the other ones for myself yet. Overall, I liked it. It could have been better, but for what it was memorable. It was fun, it was interesting, it had me intrigued most of the time, and I would definitely recommend it from a storytelling perspective. From a first-person stealth shooter perspective, I don't think I could recommend it, but if you like really narrative-driven games, then go back into it, play it for yourself, get really in-depth into the story, and try and see how it tweaks the ending. I'm not going to go back and do all of the endings, because I think that kind of spoils a Let's Play, because then it's just kind of a completionist walkthrough, and I don't want to do anything like that. But yeah, that has been the Black campaign of Get Even. Like I said earlier, if you guys want to see the Red campaign really soon, then let me know. I will get back into it. But until then, I am going to give this series a break and try and dive into some other stuff that you guys like. If there's anything that you guys want to see on the channel, throw it down in the comments and shoot me a tweet. If there's something you guys want to play with me, shoot me an email and we can work something out. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. My name is CoalFire, and I will see you next time.